It's a say goodbye to Eugene Champagne. Uh, could I like Conundrum copy and paste the entire game and add this but add this video should I say to this game.
Once upon a time. That's how these things usually start, yes? A sister took pity on her brilliant, prolific, and incredible brother. She had somehow gotten it in her head that he might be lonely, or at least that's what she claims. And so, on a perfectly fine, productive Friday afternoon, the sister picked up her son from the Elwood Academy for Boys and dropped the aggravating child off on the brother's doorstep. Now the boy, had visited Quadrangle Manor on a few occasions. Each time was complete with a grand entrance from the brother, who was in fact a professor and inventor with a profound and soaring intellect. With each visit, the inventions he exhibited became more slick and cutting edge. The boy eagerly awaited the revealing of the professor's latest contrivance, but this, the most captivating of visits, started a bit differently. Well, let's see here. If I configure the transdimensional velocity regulator at approximately 0.887 microseconds past the... Oh, you're here? I have the most incredible invention to show you this visit. Unfortunately, I'm a bit... indisposed at the moment. If you take your luggage into the foyer, I will join you as soon as I can. Oh, you confounded machine. What was that? Oh, good. That should be a safety release for the door up there somewhere. Now, where on earth did I put that? Oh, yes, I'd forgotten. You're not particularly tall, are you? You should be able to use your luggage to give you an extra boost. Wait a minute. Something isn't quite right here. Oh, no, 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 no! Ah! Wait, what just happened? I'm not entirely sure where I am right now. The security uplink on my watch still seems to work, so I can see you and... Hello? You can hear me, right? Jump around a bit if you can. Ah! It seems as if I can still tap into the intercom system. Well, I most certainly can do better than this. Testing, 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 testing. Testing! There. Ha! Much better. Now, what in the world are you doing here? Were you supposed to be here today? No matter. Well, judging from the current underwhelming amount of light in this room, we're still on backup power. My head is killing me. It seems as though I now possess a rather large epidural hematoma. A bump on the head. Do me and yourself a favor and head to the front hall. There's a way to restart the power grid. Last I remember, I was in the new technology sector, and then... I don't know. If you head over to my office over on the left, you should be able to restart the manor's power grid. Throw that switch there. It should be the one. Well, that wasn't as effective as I'd hoped. You'll have to reactivate the generators in each sector in order to lift the current lockdown. Just, take the glove in the box with you. I wish you could see my facial expression right now, as I am not pleased. What you are holding is an early prototype of the interdimensional shift device, or IDS device for short. It's one piece of my latest invention that should come in handy. Get it? You know, because it's a glove. If you can access the generator at the back of each wing, we might be able to lift the lockdown on the rest of the house. It seems as if the breaker did unlock the blue wing. Well, I suppose you should start there first. There's something I must tell you. My latest invention has required me to make a few adjustments to the house since the last time you barged in. I mean, visited. Now, one of the topics that our family has been studying for several generations are rifts, existing between various dimensions. I've been able to develop a power source that will channel enough energy into one of these dimensional rifts that it can be widened enough to travel through. The glove controls the power source, which allows you to travel to whichever dimension has rifts in the area. You won't have control over the ability to switch dimensions yet. Just be patient. This door is using one of my inventions, the repetitive, periodic, articulating gruidae, or a drinking bird, except it's far more advanced. Well, because your glove is an early prototype, it has a few limitations in terms of dimension accessibility and the distance it can be from a receptacle in order to function.
There's copycat that was saved. Too fast and
This is such an early experiment with dimensional shifting, so I decided to have it triggered remotely with the drinking bird. Instead of operating a door, the bird will trigger a dimensional shift. There's an IDS battery in the machine that will power the dimensions, which in this case is Fluffy Dimension. In addition to Fluffy being embarrassingly adorable, it's also rather useful because everything is 10 times lighter than normal. Though that looks like a regular scale, it is in fact a portable kinetic mass to electricity converter. If you place a heavier object on it, it should generate enough power to open the door. There's that lovely bird again. Sometimes I call him Desmond. Something to note. Since you're holding a version of the IDS device, you, in fact, are not the you in an alternate dimension. Let me try that again. You remain constant, so no matter the dimension, your mass, shape, speed, and trying personality remain the same. You should throw that IDS battery into the receptacle mounted on the wall. That receptacle will distribute the power source around the room, allowing you to now use your IDS device to switch dimensions at your leisure. As I mentioned, dimensional rifts in the manor are magnified by the stabilizing energy from the IDS receptacle and batteries. This is what enables you to slip between dimensions when you're wearing the IDS glove. Ah, that's Dolly. Dynamic Object Linear Ligation Interface. To you, a cloning device. I like my house just so. So I decided to add functionality to her to keep everything consistent. I'll need to tune that later.
here. Just
These are my own particular hybrid beams of carbon dioxide and neodymium dope yttrium aluminum garnet lasers using an alternating ray configuration. Gives them an extra kick. Unfortunately, the breaking of this glass is a necessary evil. Don't take that as permission to do it elsewhere. Just letting you know that you reset the glass. Thank you.
This one. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that creature there is an interdimensional kinetic entity, or Ike. Stop for a minute and take a look at the painting. The machine I referred to as Dolly started out as a simple metal forge that had been in the family since medieval times. The original quadrangle suit of armor was actually constructed in this very forge. My great-grandfather modified the old forge so that if it had enough raw resources, it could craft steel objects autonomously. This predecessor to Dolly supplied all the materials needed to build the Underground Railroad. This machine single-handedly won the Civil War. Not really. I made my own modifications to my great-grandfather's designs. The current Dolly specifications do not require any raw materials. For example, Dolly converts energy from the radioactive science juice directly into matter. I never did sort out why she makes so many copies of things. Oh well, you can never have too many safes, or chairs, or coffee tables.
Well, maybe you can. Maybe you
In case you're wondering, you turned on the fan. Please say that you don't need me to explain that to you. Ah, that's where that got to. That is a botched experiment of mine called the awkward noise generator. There's got to be more around here somewhere. Standard issue conveyor belts. So much easier than carrying things yourself.
Oh. You never experience getting moved.
Sometimes laziness should be indulged. So I haven't discussed my location a whole lot, but it seems as if I'm in some sort of limbo. I think I may explore a bit and see what turns up. You, sir, are a degenerate. This room often gets rather sweltering in the summertime. Air circulation is very important.
It's lying on that only ocean. Another experience, but it's going to go up.
Physicality of that still completely baffles me.
Okay. But then, characters will think so I have to do it. Half in the vocab and else. Almost. Building next in there. Some kid did something. Okay. Totally done. Being angry that your parents is don't do this.
Ah, yes. With these specifications, you should be able to recreate several objects in the research and development lab adjacent to my office. This is one of the animals that Dolly cloned to rather, well, intriguing results. Thus was produced the world's first and only fully elastic dog. Ah, you've moved on to a part of the manor where another type of dimensional rift is accessible. This is the gravid wolfram dimension, or heavy for short. This dimension is in direct opposition to the fluffy dimension and will make things 10 times heavier. Now just imagine how long it took me to lay all that out. Be careful. a bit on the shy side. Give him some time to get used to you. I'd help you, but I've honestly forgotten which dolly is hooked up to which power converter.
Yes.
Some dimensions are tightly bound together, like the one we're in right now, and also the fluffy and heavy dimensions. That red battery will provide enough energy to enable the IDS device to widen the heavy dimension rifts in this area. It appears this dolly got stuck on an infinite loop. How unfortunate.
Oh. Very bad at that. I'm not going that side, but man, leaving the house.
That red battery will provide enough energy to enable the IDS device to widen the heavy dimension rifts in this area. It appears this dolly got stuck on an infinite loop. How unfortunate. Seems to be a large expanse of piles and pits filled with various random objects.
Oh. Oh.
No, not where you are. Here, in this confounded place. Are those hard candies? They're a little fuzzy. Ugh. Pleasant. Nice job. No, not really. With the increased density and higher melting points of items in heavy dimension, quadrangle laser beams are rendered rather ineffectual. Like most things in life, timing is key. I came across Ike some time ago, and he decided to follow me back to the manor. I believe Ike stole these and hid them at one point. He's rather fond of shiny objects. Not half bad. This was once the family cat, Lord Widget Pompadour Fluffington IV, or Widget the First. He somehow wound up in one of the Dolly cloning control units. I specifically constructed his monocle to fit him. Who knew it would be so impossible to find a cat-sized monocle? Preposterous. Sadly, Widget the First has since passed on, but his memory is alive, somewhat. So I want to clarify that Dolly is great for cloning inanimate objects, but she's not entirely capable with organic ones. This is Widget's first-generation clone. We named this one Colonel Fluffy McScratchers, or Widget the Second. Widget the Second is still mostly together and functional as a cat, but just a little wall-eyed. I just had to pass Widget the Second through Dolly again. I just couldn't resist. Definitely learned my lesson with this one. Technically, his name is Widget the Third, though he often responds to derp. I often find him walking around in circles while staring at his feet. Very friendly, but possesses the intelligence of a sack of rocks.
And cats do dumb cats anyway.
Note that if you disrupt the blue beam, it should deactivate something. I'm not entirely sure how many BEDs of radiation that emits. Hope you're not looking to have children later.
Japanese profane venue and entertainment and actually Europe.
Note that if you disrupt the blue beam, it should deactivate something. I'm not entirely sure how many BEDs of radiation that emits. Hope you're not looking to have children later. Apparently this unit needs a little bit of work. I'm not entirely sure how many BEDs of radiation that emits. Hope you're not looking to have children later. So, don't tell Mike, but that painting really unnerves me. He looks like an evil wombat. I keep wanting to take it down, but he won't let me. This place is truly fascinating. That, combined with the fact that I have no clue how I was transported here, is certainly puzzling. It's mostly dark. Well, maybe not dark. Sort of twilight.
Legend gonna wrap this one up, boys. Yeah. But I can't.
I'm fairly certain Desmond there will come in rather handy.
Chances there's a pay for this game and it seems could be fun. I try not to talk because I like the in-game voice where if you understand, you want to know the storyline of the game, you gotta listen to the game. So that's why I try to listen rather than not pay attention and have my voice over top of it. See you guys in the match.